Hi Pisces, welcome to my channel, Live, Life, and Tarot. Pisces, this is your Valentine Love Bonus reading for February 14 to February 28, 2019. This reading is for all coupled Pisces, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, and Jupiter sign. Pisces, this reading is a thank you to you for being the most views to my weekend February 16 and 17 forecast. So I've already shuffled the cards and laid out the spread. Let's get into your reading, Pisces. This is for all coupled Pisces, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, and Jupiter signs. Okay, Pisces. So Pisces, we also have your guidance and advice to this reading that we'll talk about at the end. But to start, you have give your relationship a chance. Work on your partnership. Okay? Now, let me show you all the other cards and then we'll get into the rest of the reading, Pisces. So Pisces, you have the Six of Swords with the Four of Pentacles for your messages to do with love for coupled Pisces. Okay. You also have the Seven of Pentacles with the Three of Pentacles love messages. Pisces, you have the Seven of Swords with the Empress. Pisces, you have the Eight of Chalices with the Nine of Swords. Pisces, you have the Ten of Swords with the Nine of Wands. And we'll get into your guidance after these messages, Pisces. So, to all my coupled Pisces, the message you have about your love life is give your relationship a chance. Work on your partnership, Pisces. So Pisces, you have the Six of Swords with the Four of Pentacles. So I feel with this Six of Swords and Four of Pentacles energy is that there is the need to move away from conflict in communications and conflict in your mind and create more stability and security in your relationship. Some of you, this is what is needed. For others of you, this is the process that you've already begun. I feel that there have been some conflict in communication. The relationship has experienced some stagnation and feeling stuck, or there's things about the relationship that has caused the relationship to become stuck or feel stuck for you and who you're with, Pisces. But I do feel that some of you have decided to move away from the conflict and try to create some stability and security around the relationship. For others of you, there's a need to work towards coming out of conflict in communication and coming out of being stuck with regard to what's going on in your relationship. Now, you have the Seven of Pentacles and the Three of Pentacles, which is both earth energy. And so I feel there's a need for you to both assess what's going on in the relationship that's causing problems and issues, and work together on building the relationship, strengthening it, to assess one another's needs, okay? To really work on getting to know one another once again, okay? It doesn't mean forget the person you met. It means that in a relationship, you grow, you change. And so sometimes you get stuck on the person you know and not giving each other the room that who you met is going to change and evolve, okay, in that relationship, and that you work on it to meet each other where you're at with your needs and the changes and the evolving that happens, okay, in order to grow together, okay, in order to build, right? I feel that with the Seven of Swords and the Empress, okay, there's a need for you to both work together and talk to each other and communicate and see what you can create and build in your relationship together, okay? Where you're really sitting down with one another and talking this out, and it doesn't take place over one conversation. It's a continuous communication and conversation and collaboration to work towards, you know, preserving what you have and building on it and making it better and improving it and adapting and making changes. I feel that there has been a lack of communication, a lack of creativity, okay, and a lack of investment in each other, or someone has lacked in their investment in the other person, Pisces. And so there's a need to be more creative. It doesn't mean go crazy, but the same energy that went into you finding each other and falling in love, that same energy, there needs to be that same energy kept in the relationship, even as you grow and you change. Your interests will change. Who you are will evolve. You become more of who you are. Your personality will grow and evolve, okay? And your appetites with regard to relationship and love also grows and changes. There are things that you may like when you came into the relationship that now you want to chuck and let go of. Or maybe you do want to keep, but you want to add something else to it. But a relationship is something like where you have to want to work on it, okay? It has to be like one of your favorite hobbies, so to speak, where you're constantly inspired and interested in it and always working towards it because you want to and you enjoy it and it gives you joy, okay, and satisfaction to invest in it, okay, to be invested in, to improve, to change, to modify, and enjoying the process, okay? And so you have this Eight of Cups with the Nine of Swords. So I feel that there has been emotional unfulfillment within the relationship, and it has caused worries and fears about, is this it? Is this all it's going to be? Or, you know, that unfulfillment energy emotionally that's around the relationship begins to cause worries and fears about, okay, does this mean this who I'm with is now cheating or thinking about it, or about to, or you now just are unclear or uncertain where you stand in a relationship when those kinds of thoughts, negative thoughts, creep in, when someone or both of you are unfulfilled in a relationship. And you also, you want to stay away from entertaining the ideas, the negative ideas of seeking this fulfillment elsewhere, okay? Because it many oftentimes is a matter of needing to communicate, but communicate the truth, okay? About what you're thinking about what you're worried about what you need, and about what is unfulfilling, but to do that in a way that's loving, that's about, hey, I can't expect you to know everything I'm thinking and feeling, and then, look to you to figure it out, or, just come up with it out of thin fucking air. It takes communicating and talking about what's different, what's changing, or how you're feeling in response to what you believe or perceive is happening in the relationship and happening to you in the relationship. And even to share what you believe you think is happening for the other person. And you can very well find, just by having that conversation on all of those areas, that your understanding could be completely way off. Okay? But it takes talking about it. It takes being honest, and it takes being vulnerable and deciding that this is something you want to preserve and keep. And so you also have the Ten of Swords with this Nine of Wands. Okay? And so I feel that many of you believe and feel that you have done as much as you can, or the best you can, and that you've been constantly trying, and that you are at a place now where you may be tired of trying, or you feel that who you're with is giving up on trying. Okay? And that can cause mental anguish. It's causing mental anguish in the relationship, having these mental worries and concerns. Okay? Because now what you had looks very different from what you have right now, and it can be scary and unclear and uncertain. Okay? And it causes imbalance. And so I feel there's been arguments. I feel there's been fighting. I feel that some of you may feel you're being taken for granted of. Okay? Or who you're with feels they're being taken for granted of. Some of you don't feel appreciated, or who you're dealing with doesn't feel appreciated. But there's some sort of breakdown in communication, and there is a misunderstanding or a lack of clarity in the relationship. But also, the concerns you have, or the concerns of who you're dealing with, what they have, are still their concerns and not to be dismissed. But you also can't address something that you don't know nothing about. Okay? You have to talk about these things. I do feel that some of you have decided on these things, and to work on it, and to have peace of mind and move to a more peaceful place with each other and have that stability. But then my question is to you, what is that looking like for you? Is it just, okay, we're just going to mentally move on from it and then just not deal with it, or the way that we're dealing with it is we're just not going to argue and move on from it, And because we value our stability and security that we do have between us and what we've built, because that doesn't really solve it either if you're not talking about what's really going on inside and what the issues are, what the fears are, what's going on, and being open to hearing them, because that kind of conversation isn't easy to talk about, and it damn sure isn't easy to hear. But the goal needs to be, focusing on, if you really want to work on the partnership and give each other that chance, which I feel that many of you do want to do this and are trying to do this, and even are looking to how to go about doing this. You have to be able to be transparent, be truthful, be honest, be sincere, okay? But you also have to allow each other to feel heard and listened to, and feel comfortable to speak your truth, okay? Whatever that is, without being on the defense, without trying to guard yourself, because that means you're pulling walls up, right? And you're not able to really hear what's being said or being able to make changes around it. For others of you, I do feel that you feel at your wit's end about your relationship, that you don't know what else to do, that you don't know what else to think of. But I feel for many of you, it's because you are thinking and doing without consulting the person in your relationship or each other, which would allow it to be worked out or resolved better if you talked. It doesn't always solve things when you think of what you feel needs to happen or what needs to be done by yourself on your own, because you just, you're walking through the dark hoping you hit and not miss. There's also the need to, for those of you who feel and have approached who you're talking to, it can't be one-sided, okay? You have to be able to talk, but they have to be able to talk. You have to be able to listen. They have to be able to listen. You have to be able to hear them from where they are with it, and vice versa. Not hear them from where you are with it, okay? And see what you can do to work out what is being put on the table, okay, without feeling criticized or ridiculed, but for the sake of trying to give what you have a chance and salvage it, preserve it, to improve it, and to make it better, okay? Seeing what's wrong means the ability to really see what's wrong, but you actually got to share what's wrong. So I feel that for some of you, you feel defeated in the relationship. Others of you, I feel that you feel that the relationship has been out of balance, okay? That there's been an imbalance in give and take. There has been an imbalance with, your role towards each other. I do feel that you want, many of you, this relationship to succeed, to work, okay? And you want to be successful at the actions to take to do that. But I also feel for some of you, there is a lack of making decisions, okay? There's a lack of investing, and I mean sincere investment, okay? And it doesn't mean what you were doing before wasn't good, but if what you've done is not where you need to be or where you want to be in your relationship, it's not necessarily about what you've done in the relationship and say, well, I did this, so now what? sometimes you have to take a look and say, okay, now that I've done this, and and this is taken for granted, that you're actually talking to one another and truly being sincere and honest with each other and not holding back. Then you can look at, okay, well, what else can I do? And sometimes what you've been doing, you don't know it's not working because you're only checking with you and not who you're trying to affect through your actions for what you have to work. And so you have Pi. This is your I Ching Love Oracle card. And so with this, I feel it's about, we all fall in love for various reasons, right? But the truth of it is that all eventually does lead to stagnation. And so when that happens, that's the time to discover and recognize now all the reasons you have now to stay in love or to create them. If your hearts are still in it, if the love is still there to be preserved, to be built upon, to be nurtured. Okay? And so we have to remember that when we reach that point of stagnation in our relationship, oftentimes it's because, our needs change. We change. We evolve. We grow. And we forget that that process happens within the process of being in love and being in a relationship. And so who you met when you got together is still becoming just the same way as you are. And so we forget to be more flexible about who we are to each other so that the space to become can happen together and build together that oneness with one another. But when you hold on to the image of who you fell in love with when you started out, without ever considering that who you met will grow, will change, will evolve, as well as yourself, that stifles the relationship too. And so there's an openness to one another that needs to happen in order for that type of growth, in order for that kind of change to still allow symbiosis in your love life. And that is about having a mutually cooperative relationship, being able to depend and rely on each other. This is when two souls, male and female, or female and female, or male, but yin and yang, flow and unite through balance of opposing forces. And this is where harmony and peace, it can be achieved. It's possible to achieve. And so you're at a time now in your life, Pisces, that a period of sincere communication, collaboration, and cooperation is needed for this relationship, for this partnership to work. And so I do feel for some of you that you have felt like you could not or haven't been able to rely on your partner or depend on your partner, or that's how your partner has been feeling towards you. And so there's a need now for you both to take control of this relationship and do the work that it takes to keep it, to preserve it, And so your guidance is you have confront. This is a major arcana. This is moon energy. And so with confront, you have to confront your fears. You have to question yourself and each other and explore and have the courage to do that in order to remove any illusions for the sake of having clarity in the relationship so that you can see the best way to move forward. There's a need to have introspection because introspection also allows for clarity, and that's important at this time. Your feelings that have lain dormant are also now coming to the surface for whatever your issues have been that you did not address, or you just pushed down, or just let go of and thought you were okay. Those feelings, those emotions have been part of your subconscious all this time. And that's what causes that shadow side in you to grow, where you have resentment, discontentment, unfulfillment. Okay, because it represents all of your fears and even some delusions regarding the matters of your heart. You have concerns about examining the issues because issues in love are not simple and not easy to address or experience and then come to a place to change it, because there's a truth that needs to happen. That is your truth and the truth of who you're dealing with. But know that when those issues do rise to the surface, that you no longer tuck them away, but instead face them together and heal them together. Have the courage to acknowledge and confront any of the issues that have emerged and are emerging in your feelings about your relationship and your significant other. Look at them from all sides and try to determine where they're coming from, when and how you can move forward. Is not just about you understanding them, but understanding yourself in that relationship. Question the validity of your feelings. Often they're based on things of the past or issues of the childhood or past relationships, and they add to the situation to cause more issues and problems because they've gone unaddressed. And this is not appropriate for your relationship, especially in order for it to persist. You want to base things on the reality of your circumstances in your relationship and come up with the powerful influences that can affect your relationship in major ways that allow you to fall in love again, to stay in love, to build, and have that romantic relationship manifest into something even more. Have the courage to explore yours and each other's beliefs and conceptions about love. You may find that the feelings that you have or who you're with has is based not only on your limited perceptions, but also on what you actually saw or experienced from your past relationships and even your childhood. It does not have to be your reality. Examine your feelings and gain clarity. Know what you want by understanding who you are regarding your relationship. Explore your feelings and emotions. Explore one another's feelings and emotions. You have the guidance card of open up. It's time to put an end to withdrawing from the relationship, putting up blocks, trying to have control or be in control in some way. And it's time to release that. Some past sorrows cause you to withdraw. That's true. Both from your emotions and from who you are in relationship with. Because this is a way, it seems, to prevent further pain for yourself. But see, that doesn't solve anything. However, this closing up and shutting down prevents a free flow of energy, of communication, of collaboration, of understanding, of nurturing, of experience from you and from who you're with. It interferes with the ability to achieve that universal fulfilling love and having your desires met. Someone in this relationship, or both of you, are blocked and closed off, and you're not truly transparent and truly confronting yourself or the relationship and with who you're dealing with. And so whatever decisions to move away from the troubles and try to maintain the security and stability you have with one another and preserve the relationship won't count or matter or help as long as that stuck energy is there. There will be continued sadness and fear, and that will prevent you from moving forward in more satisfying and loving ways in the relationship that you have. There's a need to release the blocked energy by working on it for yourself and working on it together and for each other. The more you open up, the sooner you can receive what you desire in the relationship, as long as both of you are sincere about wanting to make it work and giving it a chance. Be careful for your need to control in this process. In order for the relationship to thrive, you both must be able to feel free flowing in that relationship. You both must feel that you are significant, the priority, that how you feel and what you perceive is still valid and is valid. And that you have the right to express your truth. Your truth doesn't mean you have to be right or that you have to be wrong. It just means it is your truth, and stand in it. And that is the best way to be able to open up, not only to yourself, but who you are involved with, and for you to allow your relationship to grow and to evolve through this process. I hope these messages help my coupled Pisces. Thanks for watching. Bye.